One of the great benefits of using herbal remedies is using them to help in stress and anxiety problems is because the physical symptoms that so often accompany the ill ease of anxiety may be treated with herbs that work on the anxiety itself.
Yep.
So when the physical body is at ease, ease in the psyche is promoted as well. So sort of this two-pronged approach where you get sort of mental and physical relaxation.
Hello and welcome. Mentoring with Geraldine is a bite-sized practitioner podcast for naturopaths, nutritionists, herbalists and practitioners. This podcast responds directly to your needs, the needs of the practicing natural therapist. With interviews, herbal discussions, something business and something clinical each week, you'll get the variety you need and enjoy to stay motivated in practice. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mentoring with Geraldine and the Bite Size Podcast. And I'm very lucky to have Christine Thomas from the Herbal Extract Company in Sydney, Australia, with us today. And today I thought we'd talk slightly more. She does these amazing highlights for us that we'll get in our inboxes. And if you're not getting yours in your inbox, contact the Herbal Extract Company, and you'll start receiving Christine's little herbal chats in your inbox, and they're really good. And one of the latest ones that you've done for us, Christine, was on relaxing nervines and mental health. And mental health has been really big in 2020, and that's going to carry on. Here we are in 2021, and that's just going to carrying on, trying to look after ours and our clients' mental health. And so you've given us this amazing list here of relaxing nervines, because sometimes we need to relax and anxiety gets us really up and really stressed. And you've given us a wonderful list here of relaxing nervines. Do you want to talk us through it?
Yes, and as you said, we decided to do a series on mental health during lockdown. I think it was when sort of the second lockdown with Melbourne came in, there was a lot of people struggling mentally. I mean, already in a state of anxiety as a civilization anyway, I think, prior to 2020. I think that painting the scream has become sort of an emblem for modern day society, unfortunately. But as you said, it was sort of even more apparent in 2020. So we decided to do this series, and relaxing nervines are a group of herbs that have become increasingly important in these times of stress and tension and confusion. So because they alleviate a lot of the accompanying symptoms that we get. So they work on the nervous system. They lead to relaxation, and that can not just be psychological, but also muscle relaxation.
Yeah.
When you have this sort of antispasmodic action, it can have an indirect relaxing effect on the whole system. And David Hoffman, the internationally renowned medical herbalist, we probably got his book.
Oh, yeah.
Books, and he said one of the great benefits of using herbal remedies is using them to help in stress and anxiety problems is because the physical symptoms that so often accompany the ill ease of anxiety may be treated with herbs that work on the anxiety itself.
Yep.
So when the physical body is at ease, ease in the psyche is promoted as well. So sort of this two-pronged approach where you get sort of mental and physical relaxation.
The start of your list there, you've got chamomile, and whenever I talk about chamomile, I mean, it's the digestive as well. That's one of the reasons it's so calming, is it's a digestive. And of course, Peter Rabbit's mother, when he came back from being chased around Mr. McGregor's garden, his mother gave him chamomile tea to relax him because he'd overeaten in the garden. He'd stuffed himself on cabbages or whatever it was in the garden. And of course, then he'd run home. And so he was anxious. And his mother gave him a cup of chamomile tea and sent him to bed. And with the chamomile, it's such an easy one to get our clients to have, chamomile tea before bed. But as part of a tincture, that carminative activity, that antispasmodic, because it's working on the gut. And our gut, we've got that gut-brain connection going on. And so that chamomile is, as long as the person's not allergic to the flowers, as some people are, then we've got this amazing carminative effect from that chamomile, drunk as a tea or put in as a tincture, to really support that carminative effect, that anti-inflammatory effect that we get from the chamomile. So, and it's really quite safe.
Yeah. And that's the list that I've done is basically in an order of sort of strength from quite mild to stronger. I find with chamomile, I often I'll say, oh, would you like a chamomile tea? If I've got fever or something, they'll be, oh no, I don't want to go to sleep. I'm like, it's a very misunderstood herb in that way, because everyone's
Totally.
going to put them to sleep, and it's actually not, it's just relaxing. It's a mild relaxant.
Yeah.
And as you said, it's good to eat after eating, and not many sort of lay people know that it's good for the digestion. They just think it's for putting you to sleep.
Yeah.
So, so as you said, it's a great herb to have after you've eaten.
Yeah.
It has this sort of mental and physical action.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It really works. That gut brain connection, it's calming, it's relaxing. But yeah, you're not going to go to sleep on it. I'll often have, we're out to dinner and, the waiter will come around and say, who wants coffee? And if I do want something to drink, I'm like, well, have you got chamomile tea? And people have looked at me and gone, we're still going out after this. And I'm like, it's got nothing to do with it. It aids your digestion. What are you talking about? It's just going to relax me and I'm still going to have a good night. And yes, we're still going out afterwards. Yeah. Not that we've done that in 2020. Obviously, there's been none of that. New world order and all the rest of it when it comes to how we all go out and what we do. But yeah, the chamomile itself is just so relaxing, and it's so lovely, and its digestive, carminative activity really supports the whole person. After that, you've got lime flowers there. Yeah. Now, I do like the lime flowers. I've got some on my shelf. I used it yesterday, I think it was, or the day before, and but I don't use it much. I've got to say, I don't use it much at all. And it's very gentle, as you've said here. So why don't you tell us more about it?
But I think that happens too in practice. You get your favourites.
Yeah.
And as Lindsay Shoom, who's managing director who started the company, he always says you actually don't need a lot of herbs on your shelf, because as we've seen in our previous chats about substitutes, a lot of herbs have similar actions, and you just get your favourites.
Yep.
Yeah, sometimes, and it depends who you're seeing. But again, it's as I said, I was doing them in a sort of order, and lime again is a gentle yet effective relaxing nervine, and it's really good in the young and equally in elderly people and feeble people in between as well. It's also mild hypertensive, so nervous tension held in the heart, and can be used as a diaphoretic, often used in cold and flu is kind of what it's famous for as well.
Yep. Yep.
But it does have this sort of calming effect, relaxing nervine effect as well.
Yeah.
Good for children who are restless.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I'll often use it in cold and flu, the lime flowers. But the thing is, when you have a cold or you've got the flu, it's actually really good to have something that's calming on board as well, because you feel really bad, you feel really rough. And so if the body is calmed, then you don't feel as rough. So, it's got this other side, it's going to support every age group, and it's going to make you feel better while you're sick, because it's got this carminative action.
One of my favourite herbalists, Maurice Messaguet from France. He's a famous old French.
Yeah, I do know the name.
Yeah, and he did foot baths was his thing, and lime flowers is one of the ones that he used. Well, he had used on him a lot as a child. His father would bathe, like this is, in the 40s, 50s, I think.
Yep.
Bathe the children in a lime flower bath, living in sort of country France.
Wow.
Before they go to bed, if they were sort of, a bit stimulated.
I guess, in the bath, you're going to smell the lime flowers, you're going to absorb some of it through the skin. So, it works really well, and the bath's relaxing itself. So it's going to do a lot of good.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fabulous one to have in a bath for children who you can't get to go to sleep. We must all remember that one.
Yeah, and I highly recommend that autobiography of Men and Plants, which you changed to Of People and Plants. It's the most beautiful book for any herbalist. He's the way he writes, and he's so passionate, and he learnt from his father, who was just out in the fields collecting all the plants, and he treated Winston Churchill apparently, and a few middle, sheiks, and
wow.
You travel the world. Yeah, it's a really interesting.
Really interesting story.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to get the names of those books off you, and we'll have to put them in the footnotes of the podcast so people can go and get them.
Yes.
So, because the next one on your list is skull cap. That's the common name. Of course, we've got two skull caps out there. We've got Bakal skull cap and we've got Scullateria laterifloria. So this one is the skull cap that we want to use for anxiety. And for stress, tension, anxiety, insomnia, nervousness, and panic attacks, you said. So it's really good for headaches. The name for the skull.
Cooling, bitter and cooling. If you're talking energetics, so yeah, it has that cooling down effect when someone's fired up, basically.
So, and also you've said to use it for your premenstrual syndrome.
The psychological side of premenstrual syndrome.
Yeah. So that skull cap, as its name states again. So, what have we got here? You've said antispasmodic, analgesic, hypertensive, admired for its ability to reduce muscle twitches and involuntary muscle spasms. So it's a really interesting herb, isn't it? It's got so much going on for it. We're probably going to have its own chat, aren't we? We're going to have our own chat just about the skull cap, about the laterifloria, laterifloria. Because on my shelves, I do have the Bakal skull cap under B, but I have noticed occasionally I forget. And I will put it back on the shelf right next to so I have both skull caps right next to each other, which isn't where they're meant to be, so that I don't use the wrong one by mistake. I mean, it's a great one because I always just think of skull cap and I think of the head, and it's just like, what's going on?
The flower looks like a little skull cap.
There you go. So doctrine of signatures there again. So it's a fabulous one. So, and used in the for the nervous system. And then on your list, you've got motherwort. So motherwort has gained a lot of popularity recently. And, you've said here about normalizing the rapid heartbeat and the panic attacks. Can you tell us a bit more about motherwort?
Yeah, well, it's sort of, if you'd like to think of it as a mother's hug, it's very well known for helping with the rapid heartbeat. So that's any panic attacks associated with menopausal changes. It can be initiated by a rapid heartbeat. So it's sort of famous for that, but can also be used in stress and tension without that. Seeing as a mother's hug basically is a lovely way to look at it, I think.
Yeah. I mean, if you remember mother's hug, then you'll know if that's where the anxiety, if there's, they need that support, then you can think mother's hug, motherwort, and you'll be giving the right herb for that form of anxiety that they've got. That's the wonderful thing about having so many options with the herbs, is you've got a massive number of options, and you can pick as, for their indications and for what's going on with them, and really tailor your herbal mix to the client.
The holiday season coming up as well, which can be a bit stressful. Stressful this year. It's called Mother's Little Helper as well, because it's its ability to help ease the stress and tension of wearing mothers.
Right.
It's got a special affinity for women throughout their lives. And anyway, wort actually means herb in Old English. So it's just mother's herb, and it's traditionally used, in women's reproductive system. And especially, like I was saying before, anything to do with where the heart is triggered, because it's Leonuris cardiaca is its other name. So it's got this cardiotonic action.
Wow. Fabulous.
Strengthening the heart.
The next one on your list is valerian, and that's something that I don't use very much because I find that it doesn't relax me.
People.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. I'm one of those. Okay, so it's about 20% of people that valerian doesn't work for, supposedly. That's what I learned all those years ago. I don't know if that's a true number, but it was a number that I was told and I've remembered from my training. And so for some people, it works as a carminative and antispasmodic, and it reduces their stress, it helps them sleep. And then there's 20% of us who will stay awake and start dancing in bed at night.
risk it.
Yeah. I mean, you've written here, historically, patients have responded best to valerian include those presenting with a lack of adequate exercise or mental relaxation.
Yeah, so
Which is
that's
really interesting. Yeah. So, and they manifest with stress associated with despondency and mental depression. So it's a very useful herb across, a what 80% of the population, since I'm in that 20, because we can really use it for, we've got the abdominal going on there as well.
Yes.
So we've got that gut-brain connection that we're always talking about. And if they haven't had that exercise, because of course we know exercise is so important in mental health, and of course it's been one of the problems with lockdown, people are stuck at home. They haven't been able to get all their exercise, or they've only been allowed 1 hour of exercise, or, they're not allowed to go a certain distance and things like that. And so, valerian in those cases might be really, really well indicated, or would have been really well indicated.
And as I was saying, like I did it sort of in an order, so valerian's a bit stronger than, say, chamomile and lime flowers.
Yeah.
More of a sedative action as well.
And then finally, you've got on this list hops, which I have to say taste horrible.
Bitter.
Very bitter. I'd rather have a beer. I've got to be honest. I'd rather take my hops in the form of a beer. So,
but that's its big advantage, is it's a digestive bitter action. So if they need bitter stimulation, hops is fantastic for that, because it sort of kills two birds with one stone. It has that strong bitter action on the vagus nerve, and then but also sedative action as well.
It does have a contraindication though, the good old hops, doesn't it? It's we don't use it in depression because it
has a tendency to someone who's overtly depressed would amplify that. So it's more if someone who's got anxiety, like that high stress, rather than like a down. But also a rich source of phytoestrogens.
So that is really good. We do have to, I personally don't use it a lot because of the flavor. I have some there. I personally don't use it a lot, but it's a good one to have in your arsenal or to think about. And personally, as I said, I'd rather go for a beer, but that is not what we're telling our clients to do. Do as I say, not as I do, is often my mantra when I'm So, we've got an amazing list of herbs here, and I've got to say that I have got all of these on my shelves. There's not one here that I haven't got. So it means that I've got this really good combination, and I can pick and choose depending on what my client is going through, what they're suffering, what their problem is, whether it's something that's like the skull cap, you can take it long term. These herbs, we can take them long term and really support our clients.
And this is just a selection as well. There's a lot more. There'll be people who go, oh, what about this one? What about this one? It's definitely not an exhaustive list. It's just a selection of ones that we have. And we've got the other ones too. But as I've been doing a mental health series, like some of them have been in, like, say, the adaptogen area. So I didn't put them in the relaxing nervine because a lot of them have similar actions, like they might be a relaxing nervine and an adaptogen and a sedative. So I just didn't want to repeat some of them. There's also nervine tonics. Yes. They cross over quite a bit.
Yeah, they do.
But and there's also stimulating nervines, which I haven't included in my mental health one, because these days we don't really need stimulating nervine. Or I don't think, coffee would be included in, and kola nut and guarana and those sorts of things.
Yeah, we just don't need them.
In the olden days, they when they were popular, they were actually used quite a bit. But these days, it's much more the relaxing, becoming increasingly important.
Yeah, definitely. With everything that's going on in the world and everything that's happened, we definitely need to know our relaxing herbs, our relaxing nervines, because often it's a combination. So sometimes I'll make somebody a relaxing nervine mix, but I might make them one that's different. So I might have a different morning mix to the afternoon mix, or I might have a different mix because they get really anxious or worried before they go to a particular place. A child who's got to, I had one child who's coming, she had difficulty going to school. She was such a type A. She was so desperate to get, to be perfect before she went to school. So of course she needed the relaxing Nervines before she left the house so that her mother could actually get her to school. So, different things at different times for different people. So whereas if that were an adult, I might have been going, okay, you're struggling to get there. It might be that, you've relied on coffee for so long. We have to reduce the coffee. We have to reduce all the stimulants, but I'm still going to have to give you a little bit of a stimulant in there. But that's the amazing thing about all these herbs, isn't it? We've got such a huge choice and we can tailor it to our clients.
And also, I think if someone's got insomnia, it often helps to get them relaxed at the beginning of the day. So by the time they get to bedtime, they're relaxed.
Yeah.
And sometimes, herbs work a lot slower than pharmaceuticals. So,
yes.
To get the doses in the morning of these relaxing Nervines will also help someone who's got insomnia.
Yeah.
If it's the sleep onset insomnia dealing with, then they're really helpful for that too.
Yeah, and they're really helpful. And, because obviously when we give the insomnia herbs and we're giving them something to help them sleep, we're also getting them to change their environment, their behaviors. It's, I don't know the term. The term is sleep hygiene, and it always sounds just a little bit horrible to me. I just think, oh, really? But it's true. Once we change a lot of these things, and then we add a very mild, I do a drop dose herbal in the evening from, 6 p.m. from dinner, they start having their drop dose herbal and change everything that's going on. And they start relaxing and they can actually sleep through the night. And it makes a huge change knowing which of our herbs are really the relaxing ones that are going to help with that, just to relax them down out of those issues. And it can be a cup of chamomile tea, or it could be all the way through, to chewing a valerian root. I remember watching that on TV. In America, they obviously actually get the root and they told somebody to chew a valerian root. I thought, I don't think I'll be doing that. But
no.
Yeah, I thought, no, thank you. But it's amazing that, we've got such a variety there of relaxing Nervines to choose from as part of our herbs for our clients.
Yeah.
So, right. Have I missed anything? Have we missed anything there?
No, that's all of the relaxing Nervines there. So as I said, there's more, but that was just
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming to see us again and chatting with us, Christine. It's been absolutely brilliant having you. And I look forward to seeing you again soon and chatting about some more amazing herbs. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining me today. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast for the weekly episodes. If you'd like even more support and learning, then the Academy is for you. Here you'll find part 2 of the herbal discussions, more clinical learning, and case studies to support your clients in practice. Bye for now.